Alrighty. Hello, 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 everyone. Michelle, where are you? There she is. Hello. How are you?
Morning. Hi, I'm good, thank you.
Everyone, this is Michelle. Michelle is one of my clients who has recently finished working with me for 6 months in my weight loss program, and she's had an amazing transformation in more than just weight loss. And I thought it would be awesome to come on and talk to her. Um, See the journey that she went on and the changes that she's gone through. So, Michelle, we'll start with a little bit of an introduction about you, where you live, because that's also very interesting, and then you can start with what you were struggling with when you decided to come and sign up with me.
All right. Well, I live here in currently today, very sunny Portugal. We've got some hot weather going on, so I'm expecting at least 33, 35 degrees today. So that's nice. Yes. So very exciting place to live, great people, great food, which was part of my problem initially. But a lovely place to be. Um, my goodness, I can't believe that 6 months are over. Um, it's been a crazy journey, that's for sure, but I'm grateful that I found you in every way. Initially, I think back in October, I think it was the 5-day challenge with you.
Yeah, yeah.
I found you just by luck. I'm always perusing the internet, always trying to find new things. And at that time, my concern was definitely, obviously, weight loss. Weight loss that had just been always there. And also, I felt that I'd gained more being the age that I am and with being what I thought was perimenopausal, but now I believe is full-blown menopause.
Okay.
Um, there was always an issue with weight, and I was always searching, and I don't know how it is that I found you, but you popped up, and I thought, oh, this is quite a pretty lady. She seems to have some good information. This is a different way of doing things. I've tried everything else. Let's try this. um, and it turned out to be the best thing I've ever done in my entire life. I did the 5-day challenge. I took all the notes. I studied everything. It was free, so of course there was no risk to try it, which I was grateful for, because this sort of going from my old lifestyle to the new whole food plant-based lifestyle, that's a huge step, and certainly not something that you do overnight, let alone in 5 days. But it was a great introduction. I did the 5 days. I lost weight with it. I got to know and feel a bit more comfortable with you from having the 5 days together on that. And I decided, okay, this is the lady I need to speak to, because I believe that this is the direction I need to take. And so that's what got the whole thing rolling.
Yeah. So, you mentioned before your previous lifestyle or previous
Yeah.
what you were doing previously. Talk to us about that.
I don't believe that I've ever had a good relationship with food, never. And I used to think, previous to this, that I used to think, oh, maybe that started in my 20s. But I had come to realize that probably it was already from a long time before that. It wasn't just in my 20s. Um, I've struggled with food. I used to think I didn't have self-control, or I used to think I had, some of the issues that most of us think, oh, I'm gaining weight because, I can't keep the food away, or I don't know what I'm supposed to be eating. And I'd been on many bad journeys as far as things that I had tried, some drastic measures, the whole food deprivation thing, and counting of the calories and tracking this, and not eating only a certain amount of calories, the whole thing. So my relationship with food was not only those things, but also really an emotional thing too. I didn't realize until we started working together exactly how emotional it was. So The old lifestyle was certainly not healthy, was certainly not whole foods, not whole foods at all. I don't think many real foods to begin with. And of course, at that time, being where I'm living and the lifestyle I've always had, I had always been a meat eater. So I apologize for that now, for all those years of misinformation and not knowing, I'm going to say ignorance, naivety at that time. But I've come to learn that, you know, those were things that were really holding me back and really causing me issues in my life, along with all the rest of the things, the things I was putting into I was poisoning myself basically.
Yeah. So yeah, that's what you had some good results on that 5-day challenge that we did. I
I
remember
did.
Michelle was probably the most diligent person I saw, at least on that 5-day challenge. She was literally, you printed all the notebooks, didn't you? The workbook, and you were scribbling notes all over everything and taking photos and putting them in the group. And I'm like, gee, she's doing well. She's really learning. And then it turns out Michelle's a teacher. I'm like, no kidding.
Yeah. I've got the pencils, the highlights, all the stationery to prove it. Yes.
Yeah, but you obviously took it all in what we were doing, and you know, you didn't just learn, you actually put it to the test. You actually followed through and took action, and you know, had an amazing result just from doing that for 10 days. I mean, you probably lost some inflammation in your body as well, but yeah, it got you off to a good start, which I'm really pleased about. So yeah, um,
Absolutely.
so talk just a little bit about what you discovered when we started working together. What did you sort of discover about your, I guess, patterns of eating? Um, yeah, I guess the patterns of eating, the things, the reasons that you were eating certain things.
Um, uh, multiple different reasons, I suppose, but I was definitely an emotional eater. Certainly probably binging here and there, probably big problems with late night eating, and a lot of emotional eating. So things that would happen at work, I would take them to heart and I would take them in, and then I would come home, and of course the comfort, well, what I felt at the time was the thing that was comforting was the food, definitely the food, right? So I would have a hard day, I wouldn't let it go. I would come home, it would be late at night, I'd be searching the cupboards, I'd be going through the fridge. I was one of those cupboard and fridge people that, you know, I had gone through everything, searching on my search, and would walk away or find something, and then, you know, a little while later, 5-10 minutes later, I would be doing the same thing systematically, going through the cupboards, going through the fridge, still on a search for something. So you know, it was the emotional thing, looking for the comfort, looking for something to ease my mind, or looking for something to ease the stressful day, that sort of thing. So definitely the emotional eater.
Yeah, yeah. And I remember it was sort of keeping you stuck for a little while, wasn't it? Not sure how to deal with these situations, and so we had to really dig in underneath that and see what was going on for you, and what we were
Absolutely.
was quite big, yeah.
I had no, there were the other things too. I mean, I had no set schedule as to when I should be eating. I did a lot of snacking in between. I did a lot of, oh, I deserve this eating, you know, reward eating, that sort of thing. I've had a rough day, or, you know, you know, I'm not going to miss out eating. We're at the bakery. I'm going to have that, you know, my weakness, the chocolate croissant. I'm going to have that chocolate croissant. So a lot of those things. I started on a quest with you, really, and ended up on a really big journey that I didn't expect to have happen.
Yeah.
So yeah, I learned a lot of things
Yeah.
for sure.
Talk to me about uh, what symptoms or what you were experiencing in your body, first of all, as well, when we first started working together. I'm just going to turn my
All
light
right,
back here.
sure.
Gives me trying to get prepared before we get going. But anyway.
Um, I when I started, I knew that I had to have the weight loss. Yes, I did. But I also have Hashimoto's. So I was looking for an alternative to help sort of control the symptoms for that. And of course, the symptoms for menopause. So there was the weight loss, brain fog all the time. I can't tell you, how many times I'd go to a place in the house, or I'd go to a place and completely forget why I was there. What purpose did I have going here? I am a teacher, so sticky notes is just a part of my regular life, but the amount of sticky notes I had everywhere was absolutely ridiculous. Reminders everywhere, that sort of thing. So brain fog was like horrendous.
Yeah.
I had no energy. None whatsoever. I would come, in the afternoon, there would come a time where I thought if I didn't have a nap, if I didn't have a little lie down, that I would fall apart completely. So no energy at all. I wasn't exercising anymore, wasn't making time for myself. So those were things too that weren't helping. I was inflamed a lot of the time. I would go to bed and I would never sleep through the night because I'd have at least, like, no kidding, I'd have probably at least 3 hot flashes, guaranteed 2 hot flashes overnight for sure. Which you've probably never had them, but
Worry, I started. It's okay. It's all good.
but they're extremely uncomfortable. And so, I wasn't getting the sleep. I was waking up in the morning, lack of sleep, having had the hot flashes. I was inflamed. I would wake up in the morning and my hands were already swollen, and my feet were already swollen. And I hadn't even begun the day. I hadn't even put my feet on the floor yet from getting out of the bed. I can remember times when I'd be sitting doing the work that I need to do, creating a lesson, and I'd be sitting for maybe half hour, 45 minutes. And I would want to get up and out of my chair, and my hips would hurt. I felt like I was like an 80-year-old. Not that there's wrong with 80-year-old people. I felt like I was, past my age and in a condition that you would see from someone who is quite senior to what I am now. So my hips were sore, particularly my left side. I couldn't get up without feeling that, I couldn't stretch, I couldn't release, I couldn't just easily move around. I couldn't keep up with my husband sometimes. Again, the energy, multiple things, digestive issues. I had a lot of times when I would burp, or I had a lot of burping going on, and a lot of digestive issues in my stomach, a lot of, forgive me, a lot of gas. And not the good kind.
It's talked about a lot in circles like this. That's okay. Yes,
Just saying.
it's a good thing.
Oh my gosh, you name it, you name it. Bad skin. Oh my gosh, bad skin, horrible skin. All my life, I've been known as the girl who's constantly scratching her hands, kind of thing. And I still do it now. I don't know if it's something that's just there and I continue to do it, but
Yeah. Yeah.
I guess so. But I actually feel that I have better skin, for sure, better skin, better digestion. Oh my God, all sorts of things. The
Yeah,
list
so
was endless.
let's talk about that's all the
Mm,
things that you were experiencing before. So
yeah.
what's happened now? Like, how are you feeling now in your body?
Oh my gosh. it's night and day. It's night and day. There's no if anyone ever had any doubts about what the result could be, and if there's a good result with the weight loss or this being symptomatic afterwards, I mean, it's night and day. I mentioned that I have Hashimoto's, and when I started this, I understood that I had this. There had to be a way to make some control, and I didn't want the medications and to be with a lot of medication. Being menopausal, I didn't want to take any synthetic hormones, any of those things. So this sort of lifestyle has resulted in the fact that I don't have to take synthetic hormones. I actually used to take melatonin to go to bed. I don't take that anymore. I don't take a multivitamin anymore. So all those things medication wise have changed. I take a B12 vitamin, but I don't, I don't anything, there's not anything extra.
Yeah.
With the Hashimoto's, I also learned at some point that I had the nodules in my throat, which was a really big concern because, when someone tells you have lumps anywhere in your body, of course, the immediate thing is, it's the worst, right? So you have a fear that it's going to be something that's cancerous. And I understood that I had to have the, oh my gosh, look at me now, I'm having a having a menopausal moment. I had to have the biopsy done.
Yeah.
Which was super stressful. So there was all this doom and gloom looming over my head. And the endoscopy that I had, the endoscopy that I had, said that I had a lump that was 5 centimeters or so large. The biopsy came and went and came back, and it turned out that it was benign. So that I was grateful for that. As for the size, by the time I got the results back as to whether it was malignant or benign, I also got the results back that in the time that I'd been doing all of this, our time together, my nodule, which was 5 centimeters, had shrunk to 3.5 centimeters, which was like phenomenal. And I really do believe it is because of what we were doing together. So not only did it come back that it was benign, but now I didn't have to have surgery, because it's considered here anything that's 4 centimeters and larger, that they would surgically remove it anyway. So I was below that, and as far as I know, it's still shrinking because I didn't have to go back, or don't have to go back until October. So things are going really well. So again, another night and day result. So my gosh, I don't know. Everything has changed. Anything and everything has changed. People notice it with me in the fact that it's not even, I've lost a lot of inches versus the actual kilos, an amazing amount of inches.
Like 5 centimeters or something over 3 measurements. Yeah, like it's incredible.
Yes.
Was it 14
absolutely
waist?
In my waist, yeah. I know that we were talking about it, and I'm not really the photos typey person, so I probably should have posted it, but I literally have a gap in my pants that's the length of my hand. Like it's that crazy. It's that crazy.
Yeah, take a photo. I want to see this. This is incredible.
I'm fitting into a lot of clothes again. Of course, I've gone closet shopping, but I've done some other shopping too. Of course, new underwear.
One must, bra sizes change.
Yeah, absolutely, and that sort of thing. So, I mean, it's just, I can't even explain it. It was something that I started that I knew I couldn't do alone. So it's the journey that we've been on together. And at the end of it, when you actually asked me to do all the reflecting on how much change has happened, it was stunning. I couldn't even, if you would have told me 6 months ago that these things were going to happen, that my life would literally turn around, just by going whole food plant-based, I would have said, well, this is nonsense. You can't have that great a result. You can't have a life that completely flips over, but you really can.
Yeah.
You honestly can. And again, the fact that we did it together, you were the biggest part of my journey, and helping to reshape who I am as a person, reshape my identity. Oh my God, I'm learning to be more grateful through you. I'm learning to be more grateful to myself, not just to others, but actually being more grateful to myself. And of course, I'll always have to work on things. But honestly, if there was ever,
Oh, sorry, I was going to say that there's always things to work on, right? But you do it from a place of self-love, as opposed to there's something wrong with me that I need to fix, right?
exactly, the amount of awareness I have now is just, it's insane. We have so many things that we learn together, and you talk about the unconscious brain and the conscious brain. And when you've been living for so long unconsciously in all aspects of your life, it's just amazing in 6 months to suddenly have this epiphany, this awareness, of your behavior, of how things affect you, of the results of what goes in as to what comes out again. Like, it's, oh my God, I don't even know. Sometimes I'm at a loss for words, because it's really just been that dramatic a change.
About some of those, I guess, awareness pieces that you've had along the journey, and some of the awareness pieces that not just food related as well.
Absolutely, absolutely. I've learned that I never thought I was dramatic. Life has its dramas, but I really actually did come to understand that I am a bit of a drama queen. It's there inside of me somewhere. um, and I would take things very personally, and I would make things maybe a bit more bigger than they really needed to be. But through our time together, I've come to learn that, it's my thinking that affects all those things. And I have control. I can allow it to disturb my life, or I can allow it to help me grow, I suppose, is what I want to say. So I've learned together that rather than to make things dramatic, the change in me is this: I have to stop for a moment. I have to think in the moment, not just react to the moment. So there's this thing that I do now, the act and not react is what I try to do. So in my not being reactive, I have to, I do the little finger shake, because I do it a lot for myself, the little finger shake. And I have to have those aha moments, understanding that whatever the situation is, if it's a work situation, that it's not me. I have the control and the understanding to know that it's not me, and that whatever it is that I'm dealing with, or whoever it is that I'm dealing with, they have their side to the story too. And that they're coming from their own place of issues, and I don't have to make it my issue. I can get past that.
Michelle was taking other people's words and making them mean something not so nice about herself. And so what we did is we just turned around and said, okay, well, maybe can we see this in another light? And can we just make it mean something about the other person?
Yeah.
Because when you made it mean something about you, that was really upsetting you, and you were doing things that would sort of drive you off track, and you were wanting to eat as a result, and it was
absolutely
adding to a bit of misery in your life. So yeah, we worked on that.
Absolutely.
We decided that if somebody else wants to speak in a certain way, well, then that's their issue.
Absolutely.
It doesn't need to
absolutely
that there's anything wrong with you. Yeah.
No. Right. So yes. So all of those things. So yes, learning to love myself though, which is a fabulous thing. And I've discovered along this as well too, on that note, the learning to love myself, that it's okay for myself. It's okay to not be perfect. There's no time limit on things for me. I used to be one of those people that thought, well, okay, I have to lose X amount of weight by X amount of time for whatever reason. But I've always said it in the past, you know, it took time to gain the weight. So it's going to take that time to lose the weight, at least that much. There is no magic to it. So that's what it is. So yeah, learning to love myself, I've come to find out that it's easier and it's less consuming mentally and physically. It's less consuming altogether for me to love myself than to hate myself or be uncomfortable with myself or just plain old not love myself. So that's a
so
big part of the journey too. It
it feels so
does.
much
It
better.
does.
And you get to decide, because it's all within your control as to whether you love yourself or you know, are critical of yourself, you're harsh on yourself. And
Yeah.
yeah, so if you don't like that, then, well, it's not
No,
within your power.
exactly.
Yeah. So what were some
And it,
other big aha moments or big lessons that you wanted to take away from our time together?
oh my gosh, big lessons. um, big lessons. Well, I actually understood that, you know, I have to take things in my hands. Sorry, my dog. One moment, please. Enough. Thank you. It's funny games in our house this morning. I understood that I have to take control, which I mentioned before. So part of my taking control was not, it was with my weight. Yes, it was learning a whole new lifestyle, because I had said to you, you know, I can't count calories anymore. I can't be on a deprivation diet anymore. I can't I can't subscribe to the ideals of, you know, the conventional diet these days, I suppose. And I do say diet in the fact, you know, diet, restriction, and not good feelings and feeling forced to do something. And diet doesn't mean that to me anymore. Diet now means actually means my health. It doesn't mean kilos. It doesn't mean a scale. It doesn't mean any kind of numbers at all. It doesn't mean it doesn't mean any more good foods or bad foods, because I don't have to make that decision anymore. Everything I'm doing is good. Yes, I'm eating fruit. Yes, I'm eating vegetables. You know, my fridge is colorful. My countertop is colorful. I'm enjoying what I'm eating. Oh my gosh, that was another huge thing with the relationship with my food. I've actually learned not only to love myself, but to love food, to love food in a different way altogether.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. So I have no more fear of the conventional diet of, okay, I can't have this or I can't do that, because I know that what I'm doing for myself or what I'm giving myself is just, you know, it's just making me better. It's not hurting me. There's nothing I'm touching or doing that is going to hinder me in any way. It just, and I said to you, you know, I need a new normal. I need for this whole food plant-based thing, I need for this to become my lifestyle. This can't be a temporary diet. This can't be just anything short term. I've been on too many short term things in my life, and you know, a big part of it again was that there was no follow-up. You would do something for whatever weeks or whatever days, or you know, whatever the new thing was at the time, and then you would suddenly find that, you know, you've had some results. Sure, you've lost some weight, but you've not learned anything. You've not learned how to maintain it. You've not learned how to make it a lifestyle. I guess the key word these days is sustainable.
Yeah.
Nothing that I'd done in the past was sustainable. Exactly.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
now I have this whole new normal. I have this whole lifestyle that, that you've, this world that you've opened up to me, and it has become the new normal. You've given me exactly what I asked for. I'm not counting things, I'm not worrying about things, my relationship with food has become just much healthier in every aspect of the word of health. It's just become much healthier.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. You've made amazing changes, but also not just, from the physical perspective and not just changing your diet, but like the whole mindset, and, self love, the way you treat yourself and speak to yourself, and, how you manage your emotions now instead of turning to food. And
Yeah,
it's such a massive shift for you.
it is.
So proud of you.
Thank you.
So,
um
yeah, is there like, I know there's a lot of people out there still struggling, one, with diet mentality, with the whole, trying to do low carb and keto, and there's probably even a few people in this group who still think that carbs are bad, and, trying
yeah.
to count calories and feeling restricted. What sort of what sort of advice would you give to people like that who are still sort of struggling?
Oh my gosh. I mean, I think that forever we need to continue working. I mean, there's never such a thing that you come to an end. We never do in life, whether it's what we're eating, or we're always constantly learning. That's the whole point. We need to evolve, right? So that's part of it. When you begin this, when you start this, it's not so much to look at the now and what do I have to lose, and what am I missing out on, those things. I've come to learn that it's what do I have to gain. So what is the end goal, the not so end goal, but what is the goal? What am I actually gaining? Because I'm not losing anything, I'm gaining, right? So anybody who feels that they have the struggle, I mean, you don't have to do it alone. There are so many of us out there where we feel the same, we have so much in common. And that was part of it, the program too, knowing that we have a group. I have group support, so, and I have you morning, noon, and night. Anytime I needed to, I could ask you a question, or I had access to you. We don't have to do it alone. And it was good to see that the live sessions. It was good to see in the group, having that advantage, seeing other ladies and hearing their words, and everything's being so relatable. It's amazing. You think that you're on the struggle alone, and then you hear someone else say something that you've experienced, that it's touched you, and you suddenly realize, oh, it's not me. It's not
Yeah,
me, that there are other
it's
people who know
universal.
this as well.
Yeah,
Absolutely. And anybody who's struggling, again, I say, know that you're not alone. Please, I adore you, I love you. There's not anything that anybody could tell me that would make me not believe in you, because I believe in you, because you've helped me believe in myself. So don't try the 5-day challenge, or try whatever it is, that so that if you have any doubts, that that this is a way to start. But then take it from there. Join for the 6 months, or join for whatever time it is, because the value in the end is far beyond any monetary value. The value in it is not the money that you spent, it's what you've spent on yourself. Does that make sense?
yeah. It's an
um
investment in yourself. And it's not just like
Exactly.
not just another diet. It's more than that. It's
No,
more holistic, and it's more
no.
than just food. Yeah, it's really helping
Yeah,
you step into being the person that you want to be in all sorts of
yeah,
ways. Not just stepping into whole food plant-based. So
yeah.
yeah, thank you.
And I knew this was what I wanted. I knew this would be the fit. I just needed, we want success. And I come from that old school thing where you surround yourself with the people who can help you achieve that success, right? So if my goal is to be this, then I want to be with those like-minded people. That's the only way to do it. And I needed a guide. I needed someone, I needed someone like you. I needed you. And I
I think
was
that's
so
really
lucky to
important too.
find you.
Yeah, I'm so glad you
Sorry?
did too. I'm so glad you did too.
Absolutely.
And
Yeah,
having not just having a
absolutely.
guide, but even surrounding yourself with like-minded people, not the people who are who are struggling like you necessarily, but people who are living and have the results that you want to
Yeah,
have. Like surround yourself with those
exactly.
people because their
Exactly.
success is going to rub off on you. They're going to help lift you up and take you in the direction that you want to go. So, even if you don't work with someone necessarily, like who are the people in your space, in your community, who you can lean on a little bit more to help guide you and help you make
Exactly.
those changes in life. Because yeah, if you while it is good to understand that you're not alone in your struggles, if you're only hanging around people who have the same struggles, then what tends to happen is you all drown in that pool together, and there's nobody there to help lift you out. So yeah, get yourself out of the pool. Find some people who can help you out of
Exactly.
the pool. Mm.
Exactly. So and you were my anchor. You had, you had all the answers. You always have all the answers.
Well, not too
I
far the
never
answers, Michelle.
I never for not 1 minute, I never for not 1 minute felt misguided or uncomfortable with you. You always seem to know how to take me in the right direction or how to point me in the right direction. You didn't take over my life. You gave me all these skills and you gave me all these tools and you gave me all the advice, but you allowed me to grow as well on my own. You didn't say, okay, Michelle, this is it and this is all it is. You actually allowed me to grow. You allowed me room to do what I needed to do to make this a new life for me. Oh my God, I'm just, if you need, if anybody that's listening and you feel that you need something, or if you question or you doubt anything, please don't, because I can't say often enough that, your immeasurable amount of time and patience with me was phenomenal. The amount of learning I've done and will continue to done has touched every aspect of my life, because now I'm this person that, I'm the person that people are asking me, not necessarily what they can do to change their life, but they're asking me about food. I'm sitting there at work, and we're having lunch together on a Saturday afternoon, and I'm the only one at the table who has this lunch that is like amazing colors, and my lunch is crunchy, and I've got sauces and I've got dips and I've got all these things. And I actually have a coworker. She's been vegan for like a huge amount of years of her life, but my lunch looks better than her lunch. And I was shocked to realize that. So people are asking me, oh, Michelle, what are you eating? Oh, I'm eating this and that. Oh, you can eat broccoli raw? Yeah, you can eat broccoli raw. You can have a salad dressing that has no oil? You can. So,
Oh my goodness, you're opening up other
yeah,
people's world, their own
exactly.
possibilities. Yeah. Oh,
Exactly. And those people who say that, oh, how is this going to affect my children? How is this going to affect my partner? How is this going to affect? Um, I don't know. I bless my husband for being the man that he is. You know that I adore him and everything he does. The man is another person in my life that can do no wrong. But he, he always says to me, oh, Michelle, I had a willing partner and I was lucky for that. But I started on this journey knowing that I had his support. It was never my goal to change him or make him a different person as far as his food choices. But because I'd been learning, he'd been learning and he saw me making things and he wanted to try things. And now he's addicted to the green drink in the morning. To the point that when he has to go away for work, he's like, Michelle, oh man, I'm dying for a green drink. Oh my God, if I could just be there, just a couple of sips on the green drink would make my life so much better. We didn't have children, so I didn't have to deal with that. But I think that in my eyes, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, I think that if people see that this is something you really want to do, and if we look at it in a good light, instead of saying, oh, this is complicated, my kids want this, or my husband want that, or my wife want that, if we look at it from a place of learning and saying, hey, should we try this? Or, hey, this might be a really great thing, or let's try something different, or for one meal, let's do it this way instead of this way. If people don't feel they're being forced, then I think, and they see that you enjoy it, that it's just gonna take its natural course. You're doing something good for yourself. It has to affect the people around you, right? They see what you're doing. In the case of my lunch, they see what I'm doing. Have they become whole food, plant-based? No, maybe not today, but I've opened the door for them. They realize that there's a way out there to do things differently, and it can be a great experience, and again, you can have this great looking food, this tasty food. I mean, they're asking me now, when they have their own salad or they have something that doesn't taste right, they're like, hey, Michelle, can I have some of your dressing? I'm like, yeah, of course you can, right? So I think because I never forced anyone to do anything. And when somebody had a question, I tell them openly and honestly how I feel, and then I feel good about this, that they just come to learn in time that this is a good thing. This is not some I don't know, some drastic group of people who do these weird things and live a complicated life. I don't know what to say. Some people think you say, oh, plant-based, and right away they're like, oh, it's like, no. It's a great thing. It's a really great thing. So I want to be that person that brings some light into someone else's life, instead of them thinking, oh, Michelle's just crazy, she's doing this thing, right?
I think you're definitely doing that. Like when you are doing something so much and loving it so much that you've got other people getting curious about what you're doing. One, they would have seen the changes in you physically. See Michelle shrinking. But two, seeing how vibrant you are and seeing the beautiful colors of food that you're eating and that it's delicious and that you're loving it.
Yeah.
Of course, they're going to be curious because. Let's face it, most people are not eating great food. They think it's tasty, but it's stodgy and they feel awful afterwards. So I think it's great that you're having an impact on the other people around you. And I always say that's the way to do it too. Like, don't force everyone around you to do it. Be a good role model. Be a really good role model for this way of living, and other people will follow. That's the best way. That's the best way to do it, because people are going to do what they're going to do. So lead them rather than pushing them. That's the best way.
Yeah, I don't want to reinforce any negativity on something that I love so much, but if you're curious, I'm there. ask me a question, and if I don't know, I'll find out somehow.
Yeah.
But yes, I don't, maybe that's the teacher in me, right? I don't know.
Oh, yeah,
Now I
yeah.
found this really great thing, and I want to share it. It's had such an impact on me. I want it to have the same impact on you. If I would never want a better life only for me. I want a better life for everyone. So if I can share with you, this is my result, and this is what's happened, then yeah, I'm going to share it with you. If you want to know that recipe, I'll tell you. If you want to know what these vegetables and fruits are, I'll tell you. And I'll tell you that you don't have to feel guilty for eating them. You can have fruit. My goodness, people, you can have fruit.
You should have fruit. Fruit is essential.
Please, you can have fruit.
Deny yourself.
Um,
And potatoes and beans
yeah,
and all the things. Don't deny yourself.
absolutely. Absolutely. And it's really funny because it's, I'm trying to advocate for things. And I find that, this has crept into everything of my life now. I remember us having a conversation one time, and my social media has, like, along with me, my social media has done a complete change, right? There's no more BS, I guess. There's no more BS on my social media as far as this diet or try this new thing, or, and I
Yeah.
guess I should be clear as well too, that I'm much more active now, but I can tell you for sure. I mean, I'm not going to the gym. I don't know if I should be saying that, but I'm not going to the gym, right? I have my walks every day. This has become, at 30 minutes minimum, I reached a 5 kilometer goal. I'm not running. I've never been a big runner, but my pace has picked up with my longevity and my ability to keep going. And now I'm working on toning and that sort of thing. But by no means am I like out there doing the 45-minute hardcore workout at the gym and joining the aerobics class and doing all those things, right? I'm feeding myself. I'm feeding myself what I need to fuel myself and to heal myself. And I'm doing things at my pace. I'm not doing it because someone tells me, okay, Michelle, now you have to go to this aerobics class, or now you have to do this or that. I'm finding movement and I'm finding exercise that I enjoy, because like most of us out there, if I don't enjoy it, I'm not going to do it.
That's just exactly right, right?
Yeah. There's no brain surgery involved to that one. This is not an epiphany. It's just a fact. You are not going to do it if you don't enjoy it. This is not something new. No science there. So the social media has changed. So the books I'm reading have changed, right? I'm an avid reader. I love to read, but now I'm fueling myself with more information because you've turned me on to so many other things, and I've discovered so many other things in between, right? So, Dr. B and Goldner, the all those people, how to eat the raw food and what a raw food life is like, and what can it further do for you as far as healing, and of course weight loss. There's always still weight loss, but that's okay. And all those things have energized me. And before I had said I was in control, and I had meant to mention as well too, I understand that the control is in my hands now, because I'm on a new journey, not only with this, but it sparked me onto a new journey for myself, where I want to create my own business. I want to do things on my own terms now. Yeah, I don't want things to be left in someone else's hands. And then afterwards, I turn around and say to myself, well, this is not where I wanted to be at this point in my life. Or, this person shouldn't be telling me or dictating to me what my happiness is or what my goals should be. So as I'm a teacher and we've had the whole COVID situation, I understood that online is something that's very important. I think it had always been an option in the past, but online teaching is something that became really super relevant with COVID. And so I was pushed into a whole new world that I didn't know anything about. And I made my way through. I believe I was successful. My students were there with it. But I wanted to learn more. I wanted to learn to do it in a more professional capacity, not in a way that, okay, this is what we have to use now because that's the alternative. I wanted to understand that I could do it in a more professional way. I could deliver it and learn more about the technology of doing it, and doing a live practicum. So I've taken a course. I'm expanding myself in my teaching education. I'm learning what we can and can't do online, and I'm learning about technology, things that I never thought, I had no idea existed. And had I known that, all my classes would have been so much more interactive and that sort of thing. I do a live practicum where afterwards there's a bit of a review, some feedback, and that sort of thing. And at the end of all of this, which it's almost come to an end, I then learned how to make it my own, and it become a business. And I learned, how it is to stand on my own 2 feet and finally take some control in something that I didn't have feel I had any control in for a long time. So I'm pretty proud about that. I'm pretty proud of myself all around these days.
Yeah, absolutely. Gosh, gone from beating yourself up and feeling like, at the effect of everybody else and everything around you, to now,
Yeah.
like, not just giving yourself praise, but taking control of your life in so many ways, and now creating the results that you want, not just in your weight, but in your health and in your life, in your professional life as well.
Yeah.
So it's amazing what happens when you come on this journey and you just start to drop any of the stories that are holding you back, either in your health and your weight, but you just start to realize that the same stories are holding you back in life in general. So we
Yeah.
say how we do one thing is how we do everything. So I'm so stoked to see that you are taking this journey, beyond food, beyond health, beyond weight, and just running with it in your life in general. So,
Yeah. Again.
yeah, carry on.
Oh, I'm sorry. I say it all the time, I never, 6 months, it's just 6 months is not the end. It's still the start. But
Yeah.
the changes, like the snowball effect, the one thing on another, the one step more, the one step more. I would never have thought I'd be this far in 6 months. I really never would have thought it. It's amazing. It's amazing. And I'm sorry again, I couldn't have done it without you. I really couldn't have.
Well, I'm
You're
so
the
super thrilled that you did come and join me, Michelle. And like I say, I'm so super proud of everything that you have done. You've been a joy to coach, a joy to work with, and I'm sad that 6 months is up.
yeah.
I'm glad we're
Yeah.
still connected on the socials, because I want to hear all
Yeah.
about this, all about your new adventures. I want to hear where you're at in another 6 months, and want to hear about all this
Absolutely.
new business venture and see where
Absolutely.
you're at with all of that and support you with all of that too. So,
I will never not follow you. I will never not follow you. And I know that you are always there, and that, should I need to come back to you, I can always come back to you, and honestly, those of you that are currently on the journey with Karen, I have to say, please keep going. Trust in what's happening. Trust in you. Trust in the whole thing, because in the end, after 6 months, so many of your doubts, so many of your fears, so many of the things that have held you back, it melts away. It just goes away, and you just become this whole new incredible person. And it's worth it. It's worth every month. It's worth every week. It's worth every day, every hour, every minute, every second. It's invaluable.
thank you, Michelle. Like I say, it's been a pleasure. I'll just see if there's any questions. If there's any questions from anybody tonight. So
Mm.
we might just wrap up there. And yeah, thank
All
you.
right.
Thank you for once again for coming on and telling us your story. Anyone has any
So
questions?
nervous, so nervous. I hope it was okay.
All right, you've done amazingly well. If anyone has any
Thank,
questions for Michelle, you can always just drop them into this video and tag her. But thank you so much, and we'll catch you
thank
very
you.
shortly.
All right. So much love for you.